Skibbity bap 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 bow. What's up? Today I'm going to show you my process for chopping drums in Studio One. I looked everywhere for these videos and I could not find them. So I thought I'll do something myself and hopefully it helps you. And hopefully by me showing you what it is that I do, you can tell me what it is that you do, because I want to learn even more about this part of Studio One. I use it the way that I do all the time, but I'm open to grow and all that. So everything I ever looked to find always had to do with samples, chopping samples and stuff like that, which is great. But specifically live drums. I want to edit my live drums tighter and with the click. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Let's do it. I've just taken a little section here. I'm going to play it real quick. We'll listen to it. And we're just going to chop this real quick and I'll show you my process. Nothing to it. Say we want to make that tight. I'm going to show you how it is that I do it. First things first, I click on the kick. I hold shift, click on my overhead. Now, every channel is highlighted. Now I right click these channels and I come down here to group selected tracks and we're gonna call it drums because that's what they are. Now there is nothing I can do on any of these tracks individually. They are all together separate. If you've never heard of that band. But anyways, they're obviously separate tracks, but now they're all together in this group. And you come up here to your audio bend feature. And typically what I'll do is I will click this analyze button here. And that's going to analyze everything. Now, when you group these together, it is going to, like right here on the rack tom or the overheads, obviously there are more, things being selected or ready to chop. When you group the tracks, that's not going to matter. It's going to make all of those chops. And you can play with the threshold, to make it less or more. I typically just leave it where it is about 80%, and I'll show you why, because a lot of times I end up adding my own chops. I don't really mess with anything here. I honestly just leave everything the way it is, and I apply it, 100% quantize, boom sauce. Okay, so everything is now, snapped, right? Now, what I do next is typically I'll give it a listen and see if there's anything funky. Not too bad. Actually really great. But I still go through, if it's an entire song, whatever, I still go through, Control Shift, scroll wheel, zoom in, and I come into this region or this area right before this, and you can grab there and just make sure that you don't have any, what's the word I'm looking for? No artifacts from, say if it was like this, see there's an artifact there, you can see that it's been moved. We'll get more into that, you'll see. Something else down here in the bottom right corner, if you grab this deal, it's called the data zoom. You take that, click on it, drag it up, and that actually is very beneficial in being able to spot some of those artifacts that are left behind. And so I basically do this. I start here, I go to this, I make sure there's no artifacts, and I will actually see how there's an artifact there. You want to just get just before it, because if not, it's going to sound bad. It's going to sound like this. Give you a little. It actually doesn't really sound that bad, but I beat the artifact. I pull ahead of it. I check all of these, and I'm using a smaller clip. See, we've got an artifact there. I just check all this. Come in. Make sure that it's going to be very clean. What's really funny is if you don't do this, like that just a second ago, it sounded really good. But whenever you actually go to, bounce it all down, like see that, okay, there's a perfect example. That would probably sound okay the way it is. It's not bad, but I even let all of that, I get all that. See, just the attack is right. Like you're actually getting what was actually played there. Anyway, whenever you go to bounce it down, those artifacts actually will pop, and then when you compress it, something that is like these aren't compressed, they're panned, but once it's compressed and hitting hard the way you want, it actually creates a right before the actual, the note or the stick hitting. And so it's really important to do that. Secondly, I don't always do like the hi-hats like right here, that stuff in between, but I'm going to do it right now just for the sake of you seeing how it is that I do it. So seeing we have all of these tracks grouped together, I can just double click in the top part of the region here and it cuts all of those tracks there. Now up here is our grid, right? And I use that cut, I use it as my reference for where I want to drag this. And in Studio One, it's awesome. You hit Control and Alt if you've got a Mac or a Windows, and it allows you to actually just pull that and drag it. Boom. X for auto fade. Pull it back, make it safe. You created a little bit of an artifact right there at the top of that. Pull it back. Look at that. Look how easy this is. Boom. And you can get stupid fast. And boom. So let's hear what we got. Mm. Super tight, right? Yeah. And then the last thing I do is I'll actually ungroup all of that, dissolve the group, and then I'll highlight them all again, and I will duplicate tracks completely, and then I will mute these existing tracks or the duplicates and hide them. And if for some reason I go to process these drums and I bounce them all down, like say for instance, I bounce them down as such, and I go and later I'm working on the track and I find a little artifact that I didn't get out of there and it creates a weird thing. I've got those tracks hidden. I can go back, I can do a better fade, I can do a better edit or whatever. So that's essentially what I have. That's my process for this. I can do a lengthy track in probably 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on how intricate or detailed it is. It is time consuming, but if you want a super tight track, and you want to lock your rhythm section in, then yeah, this is how I do it. And that's it. That's what I've got. If you guys, like I said, have any questions or comments or can help me improve on the way that I do it, I'm open, ready, and willing to learn. And I look forward to hearing what it is you have to say. And hopefully, this is a benefit to you if you use Studio One and you do live drums and you've also been searching for that. Hopefully, you learned something here that will benefit you in your next adventure with live drums. Thanks for watching.